Hello, Pyramid Energy. I hope you're all well. I've been sitting with a spread here in front of me for some time now. And it's as if I know what the message is, but I don't. So I'm going to take you through. But this is an offering from Spirit, from your guides. Something is coming in for you. It feels like information. Okay, it could be, I think this one needs to be interpreted by you. It could come in the form of a person. However, I get the sense that it comes in the form of an answer to something that you've been waiting for. And when I say waiting for, I don't mean you've had a clear picture of what this is. However, you've been hanging, waiting for something to impress you, something to make you feel alive, something. And you've been hanging, if you know what I mean. You've been waiting just for something to excite you. This is what this is. As I was shuffling the cards, it became unclear whether this was going to be a shared reading, as in whether I was to share this or not. So I had to ask for confirmation on that, and the answer was yes, I am to share it with this community. However, the message was rather, don't share everything. And this is not to say I shouldn't share everything, because especially with how I'm feeling about the interpretation of this spread, they're not giving me everything. And so I definitely recommend that you sit in silence as well to receive, not to receive in that silence, but to open your channel to be able to receive this idea openly. 2, 3, 4. For me, that confirms that this is an idea coming together. So let me just take you through the cards. You're showing up as the Ace of Swords, the 8 of Swords, and the 5 of Pentacles. So I already knew from the pre-shuffle that this is good news. This is good news. And so these cards are telling me that this is an idea. It's clear. In fact, it's so clear that it has you stuck in your head. This is the energy of, this is too good to be true. Sometimes we seek information, we wait for answers, but this is one of those where we go from nothing to something on a plate. And so now you look at that plate and you're like, something must be wrong with this. It feels like that. It feels like that. 03403. I don't remember. I saw the numbers. You're going to love this. Okay? When I looked at them, you're going to love this. What's crossing you is the Fool, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Swords. So this is a new beginning. It's going to ask of you that you be open to this new beginning. And the reason I say, this is crossing you because you're afraid to work with new things. That's what's crossing you. You find yourself not wanting to tamper with what's working well. Whether that's you or your work, you don't want to mess with things. I already touched on where you're coming from. The 3s and the 4s and the 3s are showing up. Where you're coming from, I have the Ace of Wands, the Strength card, and the Queen of Wands. So you've been in this space where you've been, looking for something to light your fire, like to make you feel alive, like I said earlier, something to impress you. But you've also been trying to pull from your courage to actually show up for this thing. You know, to allow yourself to want it. Where you're headed, I have decision cards here, and I quite like this set of cards together. I've got the Judgment, the Two of Wands, and the Nine of Cups, which I pulled for clarity. The Judgment and the Two of Wands tell me that you're going to be allowing yourself to make a decision based on what feels true to you. What feels true to you and what serves you. That's what the Nine of Cups is telling me. That this is you're gonna be sensing into your spirit to feel which way to go, what to do. And you're gonna do what serves you. You're gonna follow the decision that makes you feel like, you know, when they say go where it's warm, you're gonna go where it's warm. And in the section of the top of mind here, I have the Knight of Cups, the Death card, and Justice. This is an offering of a new beginning that's going to set things right for you. It's going to bring things back into balance. You know what I mentioned about something to make you feel alive, something to impress you, something good. You know, you've been asking for something good, and you've been patient. But lately you have had this more recently. I'd give this a couple of days at the most. You've had an underlying shift in perspective on something. An openness to something you didn't think you'd be open to. But there's been an absence of clarity around the object of this thing. You know, again, this energy is very secretive. And this speaks to how they were speaking to me in the pre-shuffle. You don't have to share everything. You don't have to divulge everything. That's what they were saying. Like, keep some stuff to yourself. And so this for me feels like something you're being asked to not necessarily, perhaps, but not necessarily hold close to your chest. But this is about you. And I have that in your, underlying here in your subconscious. For this particular reading, even when I said top of mind, it didn't feel like I was reading top of mind. It felt like this is what's at the top of this matter. So I am using a Celtic cross, but it didn't feel like this is in your conscious mind fully. It is, but it isn't, because this is an offering to you. And so for me, this is like the matter at hand. And what's underlying the matter is where the subconscious cards usually sit. This is the King of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Ten of Pentacles. The King of Cups and the Six of Cups immediately told me that this is about you. This is about you. And the Ten of Pentacles confirms that this is about your happiness, your joy. This is, the word self-love also kept coming up. And so your decisions around this are going to be purely focused on you. And again, this is for you. So this is not about anyone else. And this is the way this is coming up. It's as if there will be an opinion. There will be something to be said. Well, from this, it doesn't look like that's what you're worried about. What your mind is worried about is protecting what you've already got, like where you are. You're not concerned about. Again, it looks clear here that you don't have to worry about external opinions, worries, whatever it is. And so the topic of this is getting stronger in terms of this is a new introduction into your life. This could be into your work. This could be into your actual living life. I don't know. In your advice, they're saying, well, 1001, 1001 for me feels like you have closed a certain chapter in your mind, in your heart, in your progress, your development. And so now this is being handed to you. It's like you've just graduated from something. It's like you've just graduated from something, and they're saying, this is why we've waited on this. We needed you to wait on this. 1034. This makes me really want to look into what these ones and these threes and fours are about. I feel like I know, but I don't want to say, because when it comes to love, because this is a love thing, again, I will always say love is love. And so this can be interpreted in terms of whatever that means for you. But in terms of that love energy, the way it makes you feel, I personally know my growth within myself definitely makes me feel like this is love. It does. But we're talking about something that's coming in here. And so then it could be something you're introducing in your work that you're absolutely going to love. Like literally it could be that. Or it could be a person. It could be anything for you, but you're going to love it. Back to your advice. I've got the Page of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Four of Swords. Again, before I actually read these cards, I had 1144, and here I've got 144 when I look at the Temperance card being the number 14 and then the Four of Swords. They're asking you here to stay calm as you digest all of this, because you've manifested this. And this Page of Pentacles very much feels like it will be obvious that this is of value to you because you've manifested this. So you were manifesting it, unclear of how it's going to show up. And so this actually is showing me the work you've done on detaching from what the outcome looks like, but just asking for this thing. So that's a show of trust, and also a lesson to stay open and to stay trusting, and to now not begin to dictate what it looks like. And now I just want to separate these two things. This thing could, like I said in the beginning, it could come in the form of information. And so when this information lands, stay calm, because it's going to excite you. Stay calm so that you can receive this information. And the same needs to be applied if it's a person. It needs to be received in peace. And that's a word that came up as soon as I actually sat down just to close my eyes and breathe for this reading. The word peace kept coming up. Peace. Peace. And it's been a long time for me that I've heard this 1341, 1343. I feel like I feel like I'm losing my mind with these numbers as they're going, because I glance at the screen. I'm looking at cards, but I glance at the screen on the laptop, and that's when I see the numbers. But the words they actually gave, which I haven't heard or them playing in my mind in some time, is, may the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, be with you in your heart and in your mind, and bring you peace. And so I definitely feel like they want you to remain peaceful. They want you to remain peaceful, and this is to avoid sabotaging this thing. 14, 28, 44. They've been speaking to me so much more in numbers. What these numbers are saying to me, especially now with this 144 I mentioned, the presence of 28 for me is like doubling the 14. And so this speaks to me about a collaboration. And so this is a collaboration, a co-creation. And so maybe that's why I was given the message about peace, because it's going to require peace from all aspects, both aspects, both. 1515. I'm not even going to edit this audio because I want you to see these numbers. Like, it's in between breaths that I'm getting these numbers, and I went through my deck to see what is the 15th card in the tarot, because I'd forgotten, and it's the Devil. And right behind the Devil I have the 10 of Cups, and then I've got the High Priestess and the Chariot. So this is the confusion that can come with change when another aspect is introduced, and that's going to require peace to avoid sabotaging the joy that can actually come of this. There's psychic energy that's going to be at play here, and it's going to take off. That's what these cards are telling me. It's going to take off, and so peace is going to be very important, because this is a merging of energies. I had 16 and 17, so then I went to check which cards those are, and that's the Tower and the Star. And lo and behold, those two cards are sitting together in the outcome with the Page of Swords. So I'm just going to jump ahead. But in your outcome, what the cards are saying is that you are going to be shocked at how healing this process of figuring this space out is going to be. The answers that are going to come out, the experience in itself is going to be so healing. In your surrounding factors, I have the 7 of Pentacles, the 10 of Swords, and the 5 of Wands. And this is to say that, you've waited quite a while, first of all, for, these seeds you've planted. You've waited quite a while, and it forms part of a dream that you've held close in your heart. And your guides, spirit, has seen it all, has been there and witnessed your struggle. And so part of this is to bring you that sense of relief, that fresh air, that breeze you've been craving. In the area of what you want the most and what you fear the most, I have the Queen of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. And this speaks to me around you're between places right now with yourself. And so you're still battling with your sense of how you're showing up in the world, your sense of value, how you feel about yourself. You're still working through that. You've got a good picture of where you were and where you're going, where you should be, how you should see yourself. So you've got a clear picture of these things. And so you're just concerned timing-wise, is what I'm getting. Timing-wise, you're concerned that you feel like you want to make sure you show up as your best version. And when I say this, I don't mean fronting, like showing up this is not an imposter syndrome thing. This is more, you don't want to get in your own way. So you don't want to show up with things that don't belong. I hope I've put that clearly enough. And so this is just speaking to a high sense of self-awareness, just of where you are in your healing journey. I feel like I need to remind you here that you're enough. You're enough, so you do know this. But I feel like just those words, you are enough, are going to be sufficient to get you through this period. I feel like other thoughts are going to come up. And I don't want to call them doubts at this point. I just don't want the awareness of where you've been to be standing in front of you, looking at you, constantly tapping on your head. That reminder of you are enough is going to bring up all of those things for you. Even just hearing it myself now, I'm finding it so healing. Because a lot of these things are actually being suspended from this idea that you're not enough, that you used to believe. And so what it can do is it can leave you like, it feels like suspended. I'm seeing this thing hanging in this space where you feel like, maybe I still need to heal this. Maybe I still need to heal that. Maybe have I done this? Have I covered that? And so this feels like the calming down of a nervous system, just to remind you that you are enough, because you were never not enough. All that in between, the healing can continue to happen, but that does not mean that you cannot show up. You are enough. Just the way you are now, you are enough. In fact, they're telling me to also remind you that you deserve this. You deserve this. You know, just as I finished saying that, the lights in the room sort of semi went off and back on. So it wasn't total darkness, but it was like, it definitely felt like, yes, you deserve this. And it really felt like a confirmation that this is an offering to you. And they're also saying that you have been of service to yourself. You've been of service to yourself. And that's how this is all coming about. And so don't stop being of service to yourself. And they're saying even when you get confused, these two things will never stop being true. These two things will never stop being true. You are enough and you deserve this. We already covered the outcome. That was the Tower, the Star, and the Page of Swords being, this experience is going to be incredibly healing. You're going to be surprised at how healing it is for you. I'm going to pull a card from the Ask Your Guides deck, because I feel like only the guides know what we're talking about. 2211. And I heard, even when faith has wavered, faith has been strong. And more than anything, this says to me, you've had so much faith that when your questions have come up and when you've been in your times of release, that's almost when you've been even harder on your faith. That's been you asking yourself, am I showing enough faith? You know, that's amazing, because to even have faith, that's a journey to reach that. That's such a journey. And, you know, I like to say even just a little bit of faith is enough. And so I'm speaking to someone who is faithful to their dream. And so when things don't go the way they expect them to go, they still hold faith in their dream, enough to release and surrender the expectation of how it needs to pan out. That too is a journey. That in itself is such a journey. I, for one, am very grateful to my guides in this moment, I must say, because I feel like we've been taking care of some rough work lately. I'm not going to lie. It's felt no regrets at all, do not get me wrong. But most of today, my laptop was out, my charger broke on my laptop, so I had to basically put everything that needs my laptop aside for a day. And it left me, I realized quickly that, you know, this is a time of introspection. Not just introspection, but just to be and to not do. And I feel like that has allowed for something new. That's the energy I get. You don't have to do anything right now. It's just a matter of receiving something new. I pulled the two oracle cards, creativity guides. This came up very recently, 2442. This came up very recently, and as I look at it, you know, it says patience, practice, reevaluation, assessment. it just reminds me that, I feel like this reading could be listened to more than once, just so that you can see all aspects. I don't know about your brain, but mine struggles to apply immediately on both. And so as soon as I see that there could be a double meaning, perhaps both applying to me, I need to listen again just to, allow the full picture to play out in both ways. I mean, if you're intuitively led to do that. It says here, your creativity guides are advising you that there's no way to avoid risk if you wish to live a creative life. And so this is asking you to allow yourself to step out of the box. And sometimes to step out of the box, that requires some meditative space, some peace, peace. You can't say some peace, I don't know. Peace, so that you can allow these new ideas to come in. Stop worrying about making right and wrong choices and view all of them as creative opportunities. Be glad you have the freedom to make choices at all, and realize that no matter what you choose, you'll create something. If you don't like the result, then simply go back to the drawing board and make new and hopefully better choices. Your creativity guides remind you not to look at life in terms of black and white, me against you, all or nothing. You're a creative spirit regardless of what else is going on in your life. Assess your creations with appreciation and respect. Whether good, bad, or indifferent, they all reflect your creativity. Celebrate everything you enjoy, and don't fret over the rest. See your less desirable creations as interesting rough drafts, and follow your creativity guide's advice. Go back to the drawing board. This message is a reminder of something for me, like this idea of a person going back to why they do something. And I did see a video today. I completely branched out of tarot and just watched other creators, like videographers and all this other types of creators for some reason, And I found quite a bit of wisdom out there just on remembering your why. And I've also come across, and this is for anyone who hasn't started a YouTube channel, let's say something, and has been thinking about it. I've seen channels very recently. There's like a huge, in-wash, if I can call it that, of new creators whose videos are just going when they've posted 6 videos. And so this is if you have got a spark to do something, this reading is really saying, don't over question it. This is a time to be creative and to do what you love and to not overthink whether it's going to suit everyone or whatever. This is actually not about that. And I'll just tell you from the YouTube journey, if you don't love what you are actually doing, don't do it. And I'm not here to tell you what to do, not to do, but don't do something if you don't love it. Because, for example, as a vehicle, YouTube has there's so much advice out there, so many triggers, like the analytics and the performance analytics and all of that. Those things derail you. They derail a person, and they'll take your focus off the reason you even began to play in this area. And YouTube, again, is just a vehicle. It isn't the game itself. The game is what you're playing. It's what you're doing. And just to share a little bit on my journey, I went through, and this probably could have been a separate topic, but I'm not going to dwell on this. But I went through a phase during Pyramid Energy where I got very stuck, and it affected a lot of things. And I honor it as a part of the journey. I have no regrets. But I really had to go back to my why. And so what that means is that every time I press record, I need to forget everything else and just be inside the reading. I need to be in this container and be this container. And remember that when I first encountered tarot, oracle cards, I just loved them. I just loved the cards. And so that really removes so much of the pressure and all of that. And I honor every part of the journey because I've learned so much around like how to trust myself and what I need actually to do a reading, all those things. And I've structured it in a way that suits me. But that's been key. That's been key for me. That's been key to do what suits me. And so I just thought I'd share that at this point, because when it comes to creativity, you know, if someone else is going to dictate what you're going to do, you might as well give them the paintbrush. Give them the paintbrush. Let them paint what they want. And they can inspire you and they can encourage you. And yeah, they'll criticize you, some of them. But if you love what you're doing, nothing else matters. And that's the truth. Nothing else matters. And so this thing needs to be something you love. And so when something you absolutely love lands on your lap, please take it. Don't question it and doubt it, because all the other stuff is noise. And now that I'm at this point of this reading, I feel like, and I've got a second card here, but this was coming up for me in the background today as I was just contemplating my day, far from cards, far from tarot readings, far from being able to record anything. You know, this was unexpected, this moment. It was inspired in the shower. But that's what I was thinking about, is whatever you do for anyone else that's going to require a lot of your energy, let's say on a regular basis. For example, YouTube. I'll just use that as an example again. It should really be something that you would be doing if YouTube didn't exist and if you didn't have an audience. It's just that YouTube gives you an opportunity to expand and share and spread. But those are not the main points. And yes, they do become important. They do become a focus. But it cannot be your point of departure, in my personal, humble opinion. I feel like I digressed there, but there's never a digression in a reading. Let's go. The second card is rest, Holy Spirit. Meditation, prayer, withdrawal, retreat. And this is already speaking to me around the message of peace and the message of taking the time to rest, to pause and receive. It says here, our culturally perverse notion that doing is the correct use of time and that doing nothing is a complete waste of time has indeed made us a sick society. Your overwhelming desire to back off from this whirlwind of activity and take a break, even throw in the towel altogether, isn't crazy or unrealistic. It's a direct summons from the Holy Spirit to withdraw your attention from the outer world and reconnect with your soul. Your life is not to be frittered away in meaningless and unexamined activity. You came in with a purpose and specific soul intentions that are being neglected. They're now knocking at the door of your attention, reminding you that you have commitments to keep. If you don't heed this call and begin to self-examine, you may even enter a dark night of the soul, a time where nothing feels meaningful. Listen to the Holy Spirit and open your heart to its direction. Take lots of time to be alone and get in touch with your soul. Write in a journal, seek counseling, and pray. Allow yourself to be in direct contact with the guiding wisdom of the Holy Spirit on a daily basis. Withdrawing from the world, whether through contemplation, meditation, or even a sabbatical, is the most powerful way to use your time right now. The Holy Spirit is guiding you in your quiet moments. Its message, make time for yourself. 3411. You know, I definitely I'm appreciative of these oracle cards. They just have a way of closing everything up so nicely. This is definitely a time to not worry that you don't know what exactly this thing is. This is confirmation that it's on its way and how to respond to it. And this is confirmation that you can take the time to pause and rest, and that it's more important to do that than to try and push through creatively on repeat the way you've been. And so this is not to worry right now immediately about not showing up, breaking some kind of cycle, whatever that is. You can pause. You can pause. Peace is the priority right now. Receiving is the priority. Sending you love. If you're interested in a personal reading from me, I've left my details below in the description box.